Audubon 2456.
State of the Save is back, and we have an hell of a show for you today. We have, that's the best way I can describe this show. It's full of twists and turns, controversy, legal action, state senators, all sorts of fun stuff happening today. The long-hyped, if you've been listening to the past couple of episodes, which of course you have. Why wouldn't you be listening to the past couple of episodes?
If you're new, welcome. We don't mean to detour you right away.
No. Everyone is welcome here at State of the Save. Of course, I'm Eric. Across from me is Michael.
Except vampires. We don't want them.
No, we don't want vampires. But across from me is Michael. Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
We just had a hell of experience playing through today's game. We usually divide these things up ahead of time, play them, come together, talk about them. But today we decided we're just going to play through the game right before we talk about it.
Which honestly was the best way to go about this. I had a very fun time playing through this video game.
I think this game is improved by playing together as a group than playing by yourself. But surprisingly, we're today, of course, talking about Night Trap. I don't know why we're burying the lead. It's in the title of the show. But talking about Night Trap today. It's going to be a hell of an episode.
The legendary, infamous video game.
Yes. Do you feel corrupted, Michael?
A little bit. I feel like I need to go on comment boards and talk about this and demand senator action into the realm of violent video games.
Do you feel like we need to protect the children?
I do.
Okay, we need to protect the children from this horrible, I think, filth was what used.
I mean, not 3 years ago, we had the leader of the free world saying that video games need a rating system.
Even though video games had a rating system. Well, Michael, we're not going to touch that particular situation. But, boy, man, it's been a hell of a show
already. 2 minutes in. Welcome.
Yes.
To the madhouse.
Let's talk about some stuff.
Check the cameras for traps.
Yeah, we're going to check the cameras. We ain't even talked about the game yet. We can't make a reference to a game we ain't talked about.
Well, theoretically, the idea of a game club is for the audience to have some background knowledge before they click play.
Michael, do you think Night Trap is a game that people are playing a lot of in 2021?
I will say this. If you haven't done, I don't blame you if you haven't gone and played Night Trap, but at least before you continue on, go and watch someone play this game, because all the stuff we will talk about will fall flat if you haven't experienced the... Experience is the right word, I would say. If you haven't, what this game has to offer you.
I don't know if we necessarily played this game as much as experienced this game.
Yes.
So, before we get into that, let's do our normal talk about what's been going on. What's been going on in the world of video games with you, Michael?
I haven't actually played a whole lot this week. I've been continually working my way through Code Veronica. I'm on Chris Redfield's story. Wesker's showing up occasionally doing his thing with his red glowy eyes. I don't know what that's about, but I'm very invested into what Albert Wesker's doing.
Eric's favorite character in Resident Evil, Wesker.
Best hair of the series, for sure.
Best hair, worst character. But we'll talk about that when you actually finish it.
Steve Burnside, God, that freaking creep. Anyway,
we'll talk about that when you're done with it. Anything else you've been playing?
Not so much. I do have one game on the docket for the future. So me and my wife went out, celebrated our anniversary last night. She got me The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD for the Switch. I'm really excited to check it out.
Kind of the forgotten Zelda of the series, I would say right now.
Because it's weird, because it's the last traditional Zelda before we go to something completely different with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So everyone was making the argument, including me, that was why didn't you, and Nick on the show too,
yes.
was why didn't you do Wind Waker or Twilight Princess that you already have done? Why'd you take the time and energy to make this full HD remake? But apparently the people who have played it say it streamlines the game in such a way where it cuts about, if you look at the How Long to Beats, it cuts about 4 to 5 hours out of it, just because you don't have characters constantly telling you tips on how to do the thing that you already have to do.
It is insane the concept that they, by doing more tutorials, it adds time to the game compared to the opposite. You think it would be the opposite, where it would be like, oh, you keep giving away the secret's ending. I guess I would just keep skipping to the end of this, puzzle I'm trying to figure out. But it's weird that that's a feature instead of a negative,
and
right?
And now they made that like the completely optional thing. Now you can ask specifically for a hint if you're stuck. So that system's still there, but it's optional. You don't have to touch it.
That's the way I think any hint system should be. I should have to hit a button to tell you, okay, I give in. What do I need to do?
Every game needs at least like one part where you can just be like, help me, please.
Yeah.
Well, one thing. Like if we played Grim Fandango and that had a hint system, maybe it would be higher up on our end of the year rankings.
Michael, you don't want to bring up rankings.
Let's not bring up.
You want to bring up rankings?
Let's
Because
not
I'll
bring up-
fight you over Alan Wake's location on the list now.
We already did that. That's set in stone. That can't change.
But it's only one of you now. Before I was outnumbered 2-1. Michael, I can take you. The both of you, no, you're both of y'all can gang up on me. I think I can get you on this. No, but that's good, man. Like I am looking forward to you talking about that one because like resident Zelda enthusiast Nick, also host on this show.
He was eyeing it.
Yeah, he was eyeing it, but he's also never played it either.
Okay.
And of the ones that of the Zelda games, I think that's one of the few he hasn't played because he played almost the entire series.
That seems to be the case because that came out in like 2011, so that was like end of like the Wii was kind of like dying down at that point for the more quote unquote hardcore Nintendo audience.
The Wii definitely has a cliff, right? Like it goes strong, and then the Wii kind of just falls off pretty hard towards the end.
And then at that point, people have moved on to like who had their fun with it, like me, have gone on to like Xboxes or PS3s.
Yeah, people like I feel like it took a hard fall. The Wii U was just like attempt, but it didn't really go the way they thought it would. And then the Switch comes in, and we charge for it again. Woo! Mario at the front of the charge, like the Light Brigade. Zelda, Metroid, everyone behind it.
I love how they're treating Metroid now. I'm so excited.
God,
like they recognized the 35th anniversary of Metroid, and that made me really happy inside.
It's like, look, y'all remember this game exists.
Yay! Now let me play Fusion, please.
Make a way that we can play Fusion. That would be nice.
That would please.
I watched the games done quick on Fusion last night.
Oh, I bet that was really cool.
I did. I watched that one. I was tired. Friday night, exhausted. And I watched that one, and I watched the games done quick on the entire Fallout series all the way up through 4.
Oh, wow.
And the insane thing is, it takes the same amount of time for this gentleman to complete Fallout 1, 2, 3, and New Vegas that it takes for him to complete 4. Like, speedrun, you can complete 1 in, I think he did it in 10 minutes.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and 2 was pretty close. But it was fascinating. If you guys go back on the Games Done Quick YouTube channel, there's just all sorts of good stuff. And that one in particular I'll support because that gentleman was very, very good at explaining the tricks he was doing. So you had a walking commentary of all the stuff he was doing.
That's really handy.
Yeah, it was very good.
The Resident Evil runner was talking about had a moderator that was also a speedrunner and was talking like the tricks and everything that they were doing. Like, this is called the lantern skip. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool when you have someone there to walk you through it.
One last thing I want to touch on. While we were out last night, between our dinner and going to the movie, The Jungle Cruise with The Rock, in which he suplexes a leopard.
Good, that's animal abuse, right? Is there a thing at the end of the movie like no leopards were hurt by The Rock in this film?
Not to spoil anything, but I'll say it was consensual. It was a consensual suplex.
You sure that's a suplex then? I've never heard of a consensual suplex.
Moving on.
Okay, moving on
from this topic of conversation.
Having to explain something to Michael about suplexes. This went what y'all deserve for a Night Trap episode.
we went to a Five Below. We'll walk around to kill time for the movie, and they sometimes have some weird video game stuff there. They had like The Division 2, FIFA 20, and Titanfall, all games that were on Game Pass. So I was like, I don't really need to pay $5 for any of these. But the weird thing was they had about 50 sealed copies of Darksiders 2. on the PlayStation 3.
Which is the most random of games to be sealed at a Five Below.
For 50 copies, that's crazy. And I thought with the current video game market, I was like, oh, I can totally flip these. So I pulled it out. I pulled out my app and everything, and it was like, you can buy these for $6, but $5, but you can get them for $6 on eBay. But I'm like, between shipping and that whole process, unless I sell them bulk.
Unless you sell them as a hey, does anybody want an entire case of Darksiders?
All copies, both found 50 sealed copies of Darksiders 2.
A box fell off a truck and got lost.
It ended up at a Five Below.
Well, no, it got lost sitting in a warehouse somewhere. They found it and they're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do with these? And Five Below is like, we'll give you $10 for them. Like, sold, and it ended up in a Five Below.
Almost got one, but then I realized I had a digital copy on Xbox for a while, so I'm like, I don't really need it.
Yeah,
I'll save this here for someone who will appreciate this like I do.
You know what? Also, do you really want to be playing Darksiders 2 in the year 2021?
Maybe. I don't know. I would like to go back to Darksiders 1, a game I never finished, because that's speaking of Zelda, that's a Zelda-like type thing.
I mean, that series doesn't know where it's going, it
changes up every time, because 2's like a Diablo with a Zelda thing, 3 becomes like a Souls-like.
Genesis
is a top-down
shooter.
I thought it was a MOBA when I looked at it for a bit.
Yeah,
because there's
it's a top-down twin-stick shooter that's a co-op focused, I believe.
Okay.
And I believe each one you play is a different horseman. So I feel bad for the horseman that got the crappy top-down shooter version instead of the Zelda one. Speaking of top-down twin-stick shooter games, I've been playing the Ascent.
I touched on that with Nick, host of the show.
Yeah.
And my Xbox was about to explode playing that thing. Floors went disappearing. I couldn't fire my gun in the tutorial. So that was fun.
I highly suggest going to @State of the Save at TikTok and checking out the clip Michael posted.
It's raining men.
It's raining men. Hallelujah. The Series X runs that game smooth as hell. I have no problems at all.
That's the least surprising thing you could have said.
Runs that thing like a dream. I've enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's got a lot of... I'm not usually a huge fan of that style of RPG with the Diablo style.
Go out, dungeon crawl, come back, and use your money to get new armor and go out. So
it's not. To me, it gets repetitive pretty quick. But I will say I do like the world this game takes place in. I do like the fact that the story is one of those that I've actually not seen before. It's the whole corporations run the future kind of thing, but it's okay, what happens to all the employees that are indentured to this corporation when a corporation goes bankrupt? And it's corporate went bankrupt. Now here's all
steal
these
the computers.
Well, it's like oh shit, what are we gonna do? It's middle management being stuck, being we can't get a hold of anybody at corporate. It's if you've ever had a day where you've walked on a Saturday and had something come up that you have to get a hold of the upper management for. I work in management. Mm-hmm. And you're working on a Saturday or a third shift, and oh shit, something serious has happened. We got to call management, and you can't call anybody because everyone's either asleep or it's the weekend. It's that on a scale of a global crisis. It's that feeling of shit, I can't get a hold of the CEO. It's a interesting game. It's very pretty on the X. It runs very well. Lighting in particular is very pretty. It's fine. It's a Game Pass game, so it's worth trying out. Like I said, it's not something I'm usually a fan of, that particular style of RPG, but it's good for what it is.
I'll give it some more time. I did like jumping into Nate's game because he was so much higher level than me, so I could skip past a lot of the tutorial stuff and just go running and gunning, because the story and the setup is interesting, but individual stuff, I'm just let me skip it and just go dungeon crawling and shooting.
I feel like those games are more fun the more advanced you are.
Exactly.
When you're in level 10 or 11, you start getting cooler, more impactful weapons.
Give me a button that says skip me 10 levels.
Yes.
Which Destiny has that, but I never use that because part of Destiny, the fun, quote unquote, of Destiny is the grinding and earning like the cool armors and everything. Because you have to like mostly buy the armors, and like what I've seen in the Ascent, when Destiny you just shoot a guy and then it's like he dropped a helmet. That's better.
They do drops in the Ascent.
Okay.
You'll start getting equipment.
Okay.
It's not as Diablo like that. Like every enemy you kill, you get something. It's a little bit less than that, but it's fun. It's fun. I mean, I haven't played a ton recently, I admit. Speaking of wrestlers in movies, I watched Suicide Squad, and there's a scene in which John Cena is in his whitey tighties, and it makes you feel bad about yourself, Michael. So while you were watching The Rock suplexing leopards or whatever The Rock was doing. I was feeling bad about my leg days with John Cena and whitey tighties.
If he makes Idris Elba look like a smaller dude,
he makes Idris Elba look like a little man. And Idris Elba, I'm pretty sure, is taller than I am. I'm 6'2", and I think Idris Elba is like 6'3", 6'4", and he makes him look like a very small man. So you forget when you watch wrestling that like you're like, John Cena ain't that big in comparison, but all these motherfuckers are big.
I met Elias once, and that dude was humongous.
He's a big motherfucker, and he's not even like considered a top guy.
Very nice man.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. I got his signature over there. You got me his signature. I appreciate that. Fun fact: it was supposed to be Baron Corbin, and I ain't gonna lie, I think Baron Corbin would have been cool to meet too. But enough of that shit. Let's talk about like what we're actually here for. Let's talk about some video games. Let's talk about. Real quick, I did get screwed over by Microsoft. They ran their sales, and they had the entire Square Enix Tomb Raider series on sale.
Okay.
So I bought the second game because I haven't played the second game, and then I thought I bought what was the third game, but instead what I bought was a bunch of the DLC.
You bought the season pass.
Yeah, and so then I was like, I'll just buy the standard edition, and it'll link up, and I'll have everything. Except they don't sell the standard edition anymore, so I had to buy the whole thing all over again.
So you have the DLC twice.
I have the DLC twice. It's very upsetting.
You could have just got like a physical copy sent to you.
I could have, but it was 10 o'clock at night, and I was irritable. And I was like, well, fuck this. I ain't owning a bunch of DLC to a game I don't have. That thing probably is like $5 on Amazon, too. I probably fucked up.
It was Games with Gold a while back. They just did a 4K patch for that for the PlayStation 5 where you can play 4K and 60.
Ooh.
Because before you had to make the choice if you wanted the 4K or the 60. Now you don't have to choose.
Hey.
I played the first two games, so I really want to check out the third one at some point, but it's buried in my backlog so deep that unless we're playing it for the show, it'll be a while before I go to it.
Yeah, I played the first one. I didn't play the second or the third, but I plan on knocking them out.
Rise was good. Don't ask me about the story. I cannot remember anything of it, but I had fun with it.
I want to go explore tombs in that Tomb Raider game.
There are more tombs in Tomb Raider 2.
I don't really care about like Tomb Raider lore. I just want, like, if you're like, hey, in this game, Laura's going into this tomb to find shit. I'm like, okay, cool. But that's all the ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're not here to talk about Tomb Raider. We're here to talk about high quality video game or video experience.
Are we ironic, or do we actually legitimately love this game? That's for you to decide.
Do you want to know the surprise? I fucking love this game.
This game is great.
Night Trap. Night Trap was released in what, 1992?
92.
So this is
created in 87. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our experience playing the game. Then we're going to talk about the controversy, and then we're going to talk about like the repercussions of this game.
There's a lot of history, video game history, leading up to Night Trap that I think is absolutely worth discussing because the creation of this game is wild.
Yes.
The
reception of this game is insanity.
The game itself is insane. It's all a beautiful mess, minus the hearings and everything. But even that, if you take it all together, you look at it and go, this dumpster fire of like a series of events. You can look at it now, like years removed from it, and just go, wow.
It's amazing. So before we get into like more panic caused by this game and all those things, let's talk about our experience playing this game.
The game itself.
So it is a 4-motion video game. We are playing as if you think about it, we're playing as the IT guy for this Special Forces team, which kind of sucks. but
And just like real life IT, if something goes wrong, you're the first one they blame.
Everybody blames
Despite the
you.
fact that you are the most competent person on the team.
Everyone else sucks except you. But if one thing goes wrong, they're like, your job was to do just the cameras, you idiot. It's literally the equivalent of being IT, where it's like, why can't you just fix the computer, dumbass? Is that. Long story short, like I said, we're playing as this Special Forces team called SCAT. Non-ironically, apparently.
Special Control Attack Team? I think that was right. I don't know. When we were flipping cameras, I got the back half, so I had to make do with like thinking of what the first half could be. Attack Team.
Attack team, whatever. It's like a G.I. Joe fucking phrase. It doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't just
It's like Cobra means like
stars.
It's stars. It's
Well, the guys all look like the Stars unit from the first Resident Evil.
yeah. They look like the generic, like if you had a commando team on MacGyver. That's what they look like.
Oh, gray camo.
Yeah.
Face paint, even though they're like, it's a house.
I don't think anybody in the military has actually ever worn gray camo. Like in the real military.
I don't know. Have you seen them?
Maybe
Because maybe the camo is working if we haven't
I was
noticed.
about to say, maybe Scat's so so special forces they can't be seen because of it. He might be sitting over there in the corner right now. I might be looking at a Scat guy right now. But we're on this mission. There is this home in the what looks to be the upper northwest woods where people have been going missing, and Scat has sent in an undercover agent named Kelly, and we're going to find out why people have gone missing. We have also hijacked the security cameras and
all of like the security devices in the house, all the traps. And
there was a
whatnot.
bunch of traps and stuff like that. We've hijacked it all. So now we're going to apparently use a bunch of teenagers for bait, and we're going to figure out what's happening in this house.
The bit where they like explain this to you looks like if you go to Universal Studios or Disney, where they have like real actors like setting the groundwork, and then they turn to you and be like, "You need to do this. This is your mission." And when actuality, you're being like, "I'm just gonna ride this roller coaster."
My favorite thing is at one point, like one of the commando guys like looks at him, he's like, "Those are the guys that are going to be on this mission." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, "Fuck you, man! I'm in sweatpants over here. Leave me alone." No, but I
Being
think
attacked.
it reminds me of like that dinosaur ride at Disney World.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Or Rock and Roller Coaster, where it's like, let's get these people some backstage passes.
yeah, and they're like talking to the camera. Here's the big surprise. We're dealing with vampires. We're dealing with a particular kind of vampire. There's two kinds of vampires in this game. There's the family. All right.
They're real vampires. They're like the head vampires.
They're
in
real
fiction.
vampires. They look like normal people.
They got fangs and glowy eyes.
They can shoot lightning out of their hands like vampires do.
Naturally, that's my favorite part of Dracula.
Yeah, you don't know that. Dracula does it all the time. But then there's what's called augurs. Am I saying that right?
The augurs,
The
yeah.
augurs. And now we will learn augurs are vampires that have just enough blood to keep them alive, but not enough blood to turn into real vampires. So they're like zombie people. They're also
Zombie ninjas.
Yeah, zombie
vampires.
ninjas. They're also capable of using complex machinery, you know. So they're dumb, but not that dumb.
They can't bite people. They have to use this weird, like, grab claw machine.
Know that
to
thing your
suck the
grandmother
blood.
has that she can't reach stuff off the top shelf? They got a really, really big one of those. And that's how they get people. The game starts off. I'm going to go through the story here. And then we're going to explain how you play this. All right? Remember, everything is being viewed through security cameras.
So you're getting little pieces of the story as you go. It's not... You're just grabbing, like, snippets of story, and it's like whenever you advance is when you kind of, like, piece it together in your head.
One thing also keep in mind, this game takes place over about 25 minutes with the gameplay. But you're going to be replaying sections a lot. So you're going to pick up the story through the replaying, because one of the big things is, I would say the first half of the game is gatekept by the fact that you have to capture a certain number of augurs.
Which we found out was about 30 or
About
so.
30.
Yeah.
to progress. And then from that point on, you must protect certain characters from getting captured and, yada yada, to progress the game further. So, like, those hard moments that you have to do something about. Now, we'll also say there's a shit ton of, like, optional things you can do here. You can, like, rescue this character here or accidentally trap your own person here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of fun little stuff. The basic premise is the mother and father of the vampire family is heading out of town. They're heading out to go do some business, some vampire business.
And as, like, when families go out of town, a party happens.
Yes, because a bunch of these teenage girls with our secret undercover agent Kelly infiltrated.
And one of their little brothers, too. Like, this... We have a group of, like, 8... Like, actress-wise, probably around, like, their early 20s. Storyline-wise, probably, like, 16 to 18.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
Someone
under
just
the age of
brings,
18.
like, their 12-year-old brother
Yeah.
to a sleepover with a bunch of 16, 18-year-old girls. And I don't know about you, but if you're a 12-year-old boy surrounded by...
It's either a really, really good time or a really lame time. It's one of the two, depending on which side of 12 you are on. Just throwing that one out there. But it is weird that, like, here's this big sleepover for all these 16 to 18-year-old girls, in reality 20 to 23-year-old girls. But they're like, my mom made me bring my 12-year-old brother with me.
Who's a very critical element to the plot.
He's
Like,
also a fucking action hero.
pretty much.
He's, of all of them, I would say he's more of a threat than Kelly is. Kelly's a trained secret agent. And his little bit...
One
what's his
vampire...
name?
Charlie. One vampire teleports and gives Kelly a bad time.
Charlie's wasting motherfuckers. But as the girls show up, they meet the daughter of the vampire family, who's like, oh, hey, come on in.
I'm here too. Nothing suspicious. Ha ha ha.
Nah, just come on in my creepy house in the woods. Oh, allow me to walk on by Crazy Eddie. Who's Crazy Eddie? He's a guy who's just hanging outside of our house in the middle of the night.
That's just Crazy Eddie.
Just Crazy Eddie.
Some great... Eddie might be the best part of this game.
Eddie's pretty great.
This is when they center around Eddie is when I found myself really enjoying this game. Like, one of the traps is a straight-up catapult that will launch a guy off the roof in a hilarious, like, Scooby-Doo style, like,
it's
flandering their arms in the air as they're falling.
It's what they do in Power Rangers when they throw somebody in
Yes.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, so he gets knocked in the pit, and then A will just look at the camera and give, like, a thumbs up with a smile, like,
Hey,
you
good
did it.
job. The amount of fun these actors and actresses are having on this set, it just comes through the performances. Everyone knows this is not high art, and everyone's having a blast.
This is, like, in the realm of, like, a Rocky Horror. Like, of course, like, if you look at the quality of everything alone, you could pinpoint it as bad, but I will ask of you, dear listener, do you like camp? Do you like, if you are the type of person who frequents Rocky Horror Picture Show every chance they get, then this is the game for you.
This is like, and also I think of this time, there is a shit ton of like movies and stuff that are like campy as hell. Like I think about things like Starship Troopers, which I love Starship Troopers. This campy as fucking hell. I want to be a pilot. Let's play football / soccer / disc golf.
You're not meant to take this thing seriously at all, and the quicker you realize that this is going to be the way it is, you're gonna have fun. We were already quoting this game like 10 minutes into it.
I was looking for T-shirts online, and I'm very disappointed in the Night Trap T-shirt collections out there. It's just the logo.
Hi, Eddie. Bye, Eddie. Nice of you to drop by, Eddie. Let us know when you want to die, Eddie.
Yeah, that's a freaking line.
Every time that came up, even though we were missing augers, we went to that scene just so we could just laugh at that crazy dialogue.
Kelly in the bathroom yelling at the top of the lungs,
Use the trap!
Dude, it's a fucking great game.
Yes.
So, long story short, the first part of this game, as the girls are coming in, they're settling into the house.
They do a music video.
They do a music video.
To the song Night Trap.
Yes, and at one point we cut away and then cut back right when she just goes night trap,
She looks
and
at
then
the
it cuts
camera.
away.
She's playing. All of a sudden, she's playing a tennis racket. Who points at the screen and goes night trap, and I'm like, this
is fucking great.
I was like, I love this game.
Fucking great.
Yes, beautiful.
Best $5 I've ever spent for this show. I will say this part is entirely about just getting accustomed to like moving around the cameras. One thing that did throw us off a lot was the first 10 minutes of this thing. It explains to you, not a single time does it explain to you, the concept of frequencies. So they are changing. I'm using the word frequency. You can think of it also as like the fucking Wi-Fi password.
Yes,
But
exactly.
they're like, okay, we need to change the security code to green. So if you're not at that particular scene when they say that, you're not going to know what the code is.
They don't even tell you what it is at the beginning. So when we first started playing, traps were not working for us at all, and we couldn't figure out why. It's like, are we pressing it wrong? Are we not
Yeah.
figuring this out? What is the red? What does the yellow and the red line mean? You kind of got to learn by attrition.
Yes.
And the minute you realize, wait a minute, we have to change the codes, and we got to listen to when the codes change. Once you figure that out, the game becomes immensely more enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. And, like, the concept also of we have to watch the events going on. Because one thing that you're going to have to get accustomed to also is you're never going to sit on a scene and watch the entire scene.
So you kind of got to figure out character relationships.
Yes.
Really fast, because there are characters who are like inside men, essentially, where you kind of got to know that when these two are off on their own, they're going to have a conversation. And in that conversation, it's randomized. They might change the code of the system. So you got to be aware of that. So whenever you see, it makes you know and understand the character dynamics early on as a way of like rewarding you to being able to progress.
One thing I said when I was talking to Michael was this game is amazingly well like designed.
Balanced, I think, would be
yeah,
the better
it's balanced
term.
as hell, which is insane.
I can't believe that's the takeaway here, because like the first bit of the game, once you understand like the codes and everything, they don't ask you to save anyone. Before anyone's in the house, they throw like probably 15, 20 augers at you. And that is mainly for when they like enter the bedroom. You know that the trap is the bed springing up and like knocking them into like a hidden compartment in the wall.
Yeah.
So you know, okay, here's the trap in the bedroom. Here's the trap in the second hallway. Here's the trap in the first hallway. It's to let you get like a sort of lay of the land where you know all the traps in the house. So that way when you're like looking at the little thumbnails on the bottom, when you're like, oh, he's near the coffee table. So I need to hit the button for the coffee table so it goes down with the person in it. So you know, okay, I figured out what my options are at any given moment.
Also, as the game gets more frantic, you can kind of time it where you're like, okay, I know the trap is over in the bathroom beside the shower. He's not there yet. I can run over here, look at something real quick, and then come back and trigger the trap in time.
Or like they're slowly making their way to the stairs. I know the trap is on the stairs. They're not there yet. I can like circle around the whole. You have time to thumb your way through all of the cameras and then go back and be fine. But once you figure that out, the game is great.
Yeah, and like we also
Can't believe I'm calling this game great.
Yes.
I was. This is not how I was expecting this.
we
to
thought
go
this
today.
was going to be a piece of shit that we're going to have to be like, I can't believe we played this piece of shit.
Something's got to go below Dead Space.
I'm telling you what, they ain't going below Dead Space, brother. Brother, that's a spoiler for the end of the year, but this fucking thing ain't going below Dead Space. Me and Night Trap gonna fight. We're gonna fight for our right. This one of my favorite things about this thing, in this early part in particular, is that once you kind of learn the gameplay, and you've captured enough augurs to complete, then the game takes a twist where it's now about making sure certain events take place.
And hallelujah, when it gets to this point, there's a checkpoint.
There's a checkpoint. Like I said, the game's about 25 minutes long. This is the 13 minute.
So it's right at the halfway point.
Yeah. And at that point, you're basically needing to protect everybody in the house. But also, this is when the game gets off the fucking rails. Because at one point, the commando team is slowly trying to get into the house.
They're the worst.
And they're getting captured left and fucking right. Like they got like silencer Mac 10s and shotguns, but like we, the IT guy, is getting shit done. They're just running around and getting captured left and right. I would say the kid Charlie is more of a commando than any of these commandos, because at one point, after surviving an attack by the vampires, he runs back outside to Crazy Eddie, in which Crazy Eddie's like, "Hey kid, do you like violets?"
Look what I found.
And hands him a remote control that causes the vampires to explode.
And this is right before the checkpoint, so we didn't see the whole scene. But you see in the thumbnail, is like, what's this explosion happening? And then you see Crazy Eddie and Charlie just shooting these, like, remote-controlled, like, rocket launchers, essentially, into the woods, like it's the freaking scene from Predator.
It's like a weird bonding moment, too. They're like, ha ha ha, they're pretty fun, huh? Yeah, they're pretty great, Crazy Eddie. At this point, also, we've already had the music video, but this is when the guards are actually starting to get attacked by the Augurs. This is also when we're going to put a little mark here. One of the failure states in this part is the failure state that triggered a lot of the controversy surrounding this game.
We'll talk more about that one in particular.
But long story short, you're trying to save the guards throughout these attacks by the Augurs. You're also saving Charlie, who's running around, blowing the fuck out of vampires. There's a point
he gets in trouble once, and he's a critical. It makes sense that he's a critical spot. Like, you can't finish the game if you don't save Charlie, which makes sense because he's the one competent person. If you don't have Charlie, what else are you going to be doing?
But then Charlie also at one point runs outside and never comes back.
That's true. They repeat the scene when he runs out the first time. If you do it correctly, it's literally the same shot where he runs out again.
And he just disappears. There's a point in which Crazy Eddie shows up dressed as a vampire, and we're like, wouldn't it be funny if you could capture Crazy Eddie?
And then you could.
And you can. But also, if you don't capture Crazy Eddie, nothing fucking happens.
He doesn't show up again, which...
There's a lot of that where people disappear from the story and never show back up.
Once they're, like, the game marks them as saved or not saved, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no, like, Crazy Eddie's still running around this house.
It would also be a lot, because he's dressed as an augur at that point, it would kind of be a lot if you had to keep track of which of the augurs is Eddie.
That would be almost impossible, I feel like.
That would be... Yeah.
It would be
It was a fun one-time gag, but I feel like if you actually made a gameplay mechanic where it's like, don't trap Eddie.
Yeah, because the only difference was he had one of those little devices in his hand. This is when Kelly tells all the guards that she's actually a true secret agent. And then proceeds to talk at you, and all the guards are like, "Are you going to help us?" And there's a weird pause. At this point, like I said, we're just saving the guards as we go throughout the thing. But one of my favorite things, and we talked about this a lot while we were playing it, the game starts to mix up some stuff on you.
There's some red herrings here.
Yeah, there's a lot of red herrings. So there'll be a point in which you have two groups of people in danger at the same time. And you're more likely, like, there was a point in which Charlie, after blowing up a vampire, is like in a hallway being like, hell yeah.
He's got this, he's good.
And then the two guards are in danger in the living room.
They're trying to keep, like, someone out, I think, at this point. Yeah.
And you're like, well, clearly I need to go rescue them. But in reality, you got to rescue Charlie again. There's a point in which it tells you to use the trap, and you've been using the traps to save the guards.
Yeah, one of the augurs is, like, carrying one of the girls away.
But the problem is, the guard is over the trap, not the augur. So if you trigger the trap, she falls into the trap. And you're like, oh no! But what you actually have to do is not trigger the trap, wait till the next time an augur steps over it, and then trigger it. It's little stuff like that that I think is cool, where you're, like, actively choosing when to not trigger the trap instead of just triggering it every time someone's by it.
And they do a good job of making you, like, a presence in what is happening, because the characters will look up to you, give you, like, a thumbs up in a hilarious way, or just, like, go, hey, thanks.
Yeah, like,
it's like a good way of being like, I did that.
You rescue a guard at one point, she runs into the hallway, and she looks at you, and she's like, thank you so much, and then disappears from the story. This is also, like, when you start getting into, like, quote-unquote, the bosses, because you're dealing with the two brothers who are vampires, and, like, they're attacking the guards, and all of this is leading to the fact that Kelly is the last one who stays in the house, and so you're taking out the two brothers, and also the family comes home, the parents.
Yeah.
And so you have the final confrontation with both the parents and the daughter, with Kelly, you and Kelly walking together. There is a short interruption A couple interruptions by the commando team, the completely useless commandos. There's one point one of them dresses up as a guy in like a Hawaiian shirt and shows up in a really bad Jamaican accent
Terrible.
while looking for a boat, and he just shows up for a little bit and then disappears or gets kicked back out of the house.
That was right before the checkpoint, because I only remember seeing that like once before it goes.
He just walks in and goes like, "Oh, I'm just looking for my boat," and the two brothers are like, "I don't know where your boat is, man. Get out!" And they push him out. Also, there's multiple times commandos try to get into the house just to get attacked and dragged off. There's also a point in which the commandos finally get the family together. Kelly and them are interrogating the vampire family, and then they shoot at the vampires, and the vampires yell the immortal line, "Your bullets do not harm me!" Ha 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 ha!
Because it's a weird cut, because it's the commando in full frame, and he shoots, and then it cuts to like the wide shot where you see everybody. It's like a completely different. It could have been a completely different scene, but it's like, aha! Your bullets have no effect on me. What a weird.
It's a weird fucking.
What a
game.
weird game.
All the commandos get taken out. And it's just you and Kelly to take out the rest of the vampire family.
And she's like leading. It's cool because she's leading them across traps and everything. So
yes.
you gotta watch it, because you'll get the flash whenever she's running.
Yeah, you can actually trigger it and capture Kelly by mistake. So like you have to be careful. Just kind of give you a heads up of how we played this. We beat this in about 2 hours.
That sounds right.
It like I said, it's only about 25 minutes in the story, but you're obviously having to repeat stuff. You also have to get accustomed to the fact you're not always going to watch all the scenes and know exactly all the points, because you're constantly having to jump between cameras. But because of the replayability of the thing, you're going to pick up on the bulk of it. We did finish the game with like a quote unquote good ending.
We caught 77 of 100 augurs possible, and we saved all of the friends.
Yeah, we saved everybody, and we didn't do apparently at the very end, like Kelly walks down the hallway like, it's
you
like
can trap her at the end.
It's like an end of like a sitcom, and then you could apparently just like launch a trap and it'd be like, the true one survivor is me, the IT guy. You know? But we got the good ending. The only thing we did do is we played all the way up to how we figured out the basics of how we were going to finish the game, and then we did have to use a guide just to hurry up and finish the rest of it.
Just to knock out the ending bit really fast, because we got to the point where it's like we know everything we're going to discuss for the game, but was like we could spend the next hour figuring this out the optimal way. Yeah, but we just were like, we have like 3 more minutes of time code left. Let's see the end of this thing.
Let's just knock it out real quick. But like I said, an extra hour probably would have been done with it. Very like it's extremely like user friendly when you think about it. And now we are playing the re-release version, so we are playing the updated,
the 25th anniversary edition.
Yeah, 25th anniversary edition.
Includes some like extras there, including like a tech demo, which I'll talk about when I discuss the history of this game.
Surprise, surprise, we fucking like this video game.
I really like this game. This is I said already, but this occupies a similar space in my mind as like a Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like when you're just in the mood for like pure camp, this is the game to play. This is gonna be a game. If you're at a party, like I had some parties in college where I brought like games for like friends to see and play, sometimes like horror games. Like we played like Five Nights at Freddy's with a group, and that was a lot of fun. Take this game and have people experience it. Like you can, I feel like this would be better there initially. Like if you have someone who's played it before to get you through that rough like first 10, 15 minutes of figuring it out. Just be like, okay, you're gonna start on this color, then you need to listen for the changes in like the color of the system. If you have that there and that baseline knowledge, you're in for like a really fun party game.
We had a great time even when like the other one was playing. Like watching the screens and be like, shit, you got 2 in the bedroom.
Like I see movement,
camera 3, movement. And then like both like walking together to figure out the game. We had a really good time doing that. Like I very much suggest playing this in a group. I imagine the more people the better. As long as everyone's like invested in the camp, then you're probably going to have a great time. Mm-hmm. It's on sale a lot on the Switch.
Yeah,
I got it for like $5. So
that was. I mean, you paid for it, but I think it was worth it. It
was fucking worth it. I had a great $5 for 2 hours of good time. I was fine with that. Like, will I probably play this again? Maybe not.
Play with the guide to get the 100%
Maybe,
easy,
yeah.
because you have the pause option, so you can knock out one and then look at the time code on a walkthrough, and then figure out
Yeah.
the next one. It might be worth it to see. I would like to see that tech demo at some point too.
Yeah,
Like,
there was a tech demo thing the only thing I don't like is it has a lot of its bonus material locked behind completion stuff.
But I'd feel bad if this was like a longer game. But this game being so short and so easy to like look up a walkthrough for, I don't mind that. But at the same time, it was like you're making me do extra work for
what is the 25th anniversary edition, which is like I'm buying this for the history just as much as the game itself.
If you're buying Night Trap, you're interested in the overall like what this means in the history of video games. You're not buying it because it's something that you need to play.
You didn't have in your cart Night Trap and Doom Eternal. You wasn't sitting there and be like, which game am I going to play
That's a double
this
feature.
week? You're not doing that. Like, if you buy a Night Trap, you're like, I got to experience this shit. I got to see what's up with this thing. Like, I mean, I feel like that's the big thing. Like,
Exactly.
Night Trap is as much about the history as it is the game itself. The fact that we actually enjoyed this fucking game blows my mind.
I was expecting us to like have fun going, man, that was terrible
Yeah.
in a fun way, but like the fact that it's like legitimately a competent game is something I wasn't expecting,
Yeah.
and I will value this game and its experience going, man, it was trying some things.
Yeah, it was doing some shit, man. I actually really enjoyed this game. Now let's talk about the real reason we did this show, though. So, Michael, I know you talked about you enjoyed this game, but did you know, Michael, that it has corrupted your mind? You're now a degenerate.
Oh no.
How
I knew
dare
this
you?
I knew this day would come.
You knew this day was come. The innocence has been removed from your life. Now you are the evil definition of what's wrong with society.
Because I played this T-rated video game.
Night Trap caused some shit. All right. If anyone is familiar with the thing called the Satanic Panic, all right, it's also like linked to things like more panics around music and video games, things like that. It basically with metal, and then hip hop got dragged into it.
The Filthy 15 of heavy metal music, including like Twisted Sister and Judas Priest.
Judas Priest, Slayer, everyone from like Slayer, who were like a band that actually had like pentagrams and demons in their album covers, to like Led Zeppelin, who's singing about fucking Lord of the Rings. Like, I mean, or like Twisted Sister with lines like, we're not going to take it
No, we ain't gonna take it.
anymore. And like somehow that's satanic. Long story short, people have a long history of getting really weird about like shit and getting up in arms over things that they view as immoral.
Most recently, the Little Nas X shoe stuff.
Yeah, with Lil Nas X made a music video, and
Sold
everybody
some shoes.
freaked out because they're like, Nike is supporting the devil. And like every pastor and local church official and local, mayor came out being like, we gotta stop Little Nas X. Went all the way. Little Nas X is laughing to the bank. Good for him on making some money. That horse riding money ran out, so it's time to piss off people with Nike tennis shoes. But the weirdest thing is Night Trap, along with games like Mortal Kombat, kind of started the more panic around video games.
Those two games, Mortal Kombat dropped off on the arcades the same week as Night Trap.
Hell of a week.
Good week for video
Good
games.
week for video games. Mortal Kombat and freaking Night Trap. So we watched a documentary that's included in the Night Trap 25th anniversary edition that talks about a lot of the controversy. And they talk about, there's some clips from Senate hearings in which people are like, this game includes rape
It's
and
disgusting.
gore. The people who are responsible for this smut should be held accountable. And Michael, I entered this game looking to try to see what it was that pissed people off. Michael, there's no gore. There was definitely no rape. The violence is cartoonish as hell.
It's like the equivalent of like a slightly edgier Legends of the Hidden Temple with like traps falling and like goons just falling into holes with like smoke coming out and everything. Like it's
fucking cartoony.
It's a cartoon, exactly.
It's a Scooby-Doo cartoon. It really is. Like the fact even there was an interesting thing on there about Hasbro wanted no kind of violence that could be recreated. So like
they were careful to like being like no one can replicate this like grab claw blood vampire machine.
You don't see any blood except blood in like a tube that you described it best when we were talking about it as it looking like what's that, the blood bank, like the tube that they stick in your arm, having the blood come up the tube.
That's blood and gore, man.
That's the most you see, and it's very hard. And we're playing it on a modern day console on a remaster edition. Seeing that shit on the Sega, freaking, like, you're not gonna even see it. I don't think in the original version. It's so pixelated as hell. You ain't gonna see that blood coming up that tube. The scene that kind of was used as a, like the flag they were waving is one of the failure state scenes in which one of the girls is in a nightgown and she is in a bathroom and you have to rescue her from 3 augurs that come out and like they attack her, they put the clamp thing around her neck and they drag her off because anybody who gets captured in this game just gets dragged off. Nobody gets hurt on
No one
screen.
Gets killed on screen?
Yeah, no one gets killed on screen.
Except like the augurs, but they blow up in such like a cartoony way, like it's.
But they don't even blow up; they just fall into shit.
I mean, whenever Charlie was using his like.
Oh yeah, but that's just like it's like a puff of smoke and they're gone.
It's Tom and Jerry.
It's Tom and Jerry. This scene in particular, they I think it's where they get all the sexual violence stuff, and like she's in a nightgown, but it's not even like it's not lingerie. It's like a nightgown. It's played extremely comedic. There is no like vibe of sexual assault. It's like, no, she gets the vampire thing around her neck and they drag her off like they drag off everybody. And you brought up a good point. You're like, if I was a parent who walked in the room at this exact moment,
I'd have some questions.
You might be like, what kind of game are you playing? But would you be like, I have to call my congressman right now?
No, I would be like, let's say I'm walking in on walking into like an 8-year-old playing on that scene. I'd be like, what are you playing? They'd probably be like in that moment, it's not as bad as it looks. But me as a parent, I would engage with that media and really see and then determine theoretically, I would have determined this before I even bought the game for them.
Almost like you being an active parent is a part of knowing what your kids are getting into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a parent. I got kids. I don't buy them shit that I don't know something about. Like, she's watching a TV show. I'll watch some of the show to see if there's anything on there she shouldn't be watching. Like,
and then it's not like, this is evil, you need to turn away and be like, hey, you divert. You go, let's try to find something else.
Or you do what I do. Those times I've been like, this is something that's probably for you when you're older.
Yeah.
And a lot of times kids are pretty smart. And they're like, okay, cool. And you say, let's watch this instead. And kids are pretty smart. Like, the concept of like, no, this shouldn't exist because my child is existing. Like, there is media for people of all different ages. Now, I'm going to kind of go on a tangent here. But like, just because, not all media... Okay, I watched Suicide Squad last night. I didn't watch Suicide Squad with my kid. My kid went to bed, and I stayed up and watched that movie. That's a hard R movie, lots of blood, lots of gore. I know that's not for my child. So what I did as a parent was say, I'm not going to let them watch it.
What a novel concept.
What a novel concept. Instead of me calling my congressman, being like, John Cena's running around in his whitey-tighty shooting people in the head with a gun. It's like... No, fuck that shit. It's just not for my kids. As a parent, take responsibility for your fucking children. But I was watching this and I was like, what's the more, like, the way they are describing this stuff is that it was like a smut film. Not a smut film, like a snuff film. Snuff film. And it's like,
It's
dude, none of that is that.
it's a B grade horror movie.
It's not even a B grade. Like, in B grade horror, a lot of times they put a lot of blood in it just to make it, scary somewhat. Like, I'm thinking about horror movies of the time. Like, this is around the time, like, Evil Dead came out.
This is a made-for-TV, like,
It's like
11 p.m. horror movie.
It's like a Lifetime horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing here is morally objectable. If you got like I was trying to be like, are they mad about some of the girls, like, wearing sports bras or anything? But I'm like, it's the 80s. Everyone was wearing fucking sports bras and workout clothes all the time. I was like...
The workout fad of the 80s was very much a thing. Yeah, it was like... Nothing that people wore was, like, something that you wouldn't see on, like, an episode of, like, Saved by the Bell.
Exactly. Like, there was no... And then, like, with the violence, it's either so cartoony, it's ridiculous, or it's just...
Irreplicable, I think is the right word. Like, cannot be replicated in real life, essentially.
No one's got a blood-sucking grabby claw.
I don't know about you, but...
Your kid doesn't own a remote control that makes vampires explode. Like...
If they did, that's just a useful tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you protect the house from vampires, yeah.
Your kid... Do you have a house where the bookcase turns around and knocks you into a pit? Then you probably can't recreate the violence of Night Trap. Like, the way they described this game is that it was a snuff film. And instead what you got was a B-grade... Like, everyone obviously involved in this game was having a fun time playing in it. Like, you could tell a lot of, like, wink and nods to the cameras. Everyone's having
literal thumbs up and winks to the camera.
Everybody had a good time making this damn thing. And...
It shows.
It's not even scary.
Oh, no.
It's not even scary. Like, the moral panic behind this thing is ridiculous.
Just like the game itself, like, it's insane that it blew up as much as it did. And the reason we have do games need a rating system? I would say, yes, it's helpful for parents, it's helpful for anybody who's, like, to guide their own, like, personal sensibilities of what they want to experience and whatnot.
Some people are sensitive to certain content, and there's nothing wrong with saying, like, hey,
I want to know if this game's for me or not.
I think we've even done this on this show before, where we've done, like, a thing at the beginning, like, hey, this game we're talking about involves some of this material.
Life is Strange deals with some, like, personal, like, stuff like that.
It deals with some hardcore emotional stuff, and I think we even put a disclaimer in front of it saying, like, hey, we're going to talk about some of this stuff. If you're not comfortable with that, we understand. You can go on to the next episode, and we'll see you next time.
Exactly.
Like, and that's what a rating should be. It's like hey, heads up. This is in there. Just so you know before you get involved.
So that way you don't accidentally let your, like, 4-year-old play, like, Conker's Bad Fur Day or something.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It exists for a reason. Should this have been the game to create the rating system? No.
No. It's some straight up bullshit, seduction of the innocent level bullshit. Okay,
Yeah.
So there was a book written in the 50s called Seduction of the Innocent that targeted in particular comics, and it's why comics in the early 50s had a lot of, like, horror comics, and, like, comics were a lot of things. And after the book The Seduction of the Innocent, the comics code was put into place, and comics kind of starts becoming more childlike, child friendly for a long time until I would say around the 70s.
And then wasn't it? I think you told me that, like, they just
Stan
were like,
Lee.
I'm just going to release a book that doesn't meet these guidelines and find out what happens.
Stan Lee was editor at Marvel Comics at the time. He wanted to do a Spider-Man book that dealt with drugs. It was even like an anti-drug thing, but you can't mention drugs under the comic code at all. You couldn't even mention a needle because a needle was drug paraphernalia. So Stan Lee's like, what happens if we don't do it? Why if we don't put the comics code on there? And everyone's like, no, you can't do that, Stan. He goes, what happens if you don't? And he released the comics just without the comics code on there. And jack shit happened because it was just one of those, like, you better not do that. Better not cross that line. And there was no fucking repercussion to it. No one was watching. And it was just like everyone was so scared. So then he just started like, if they had something that violated the code, he just didn't put the code on there. So Stan Lee's a complicated individual, but in that particular aspect, good on him. He's like, what's he got to do about it? But like, the fact that this is the reason video games have a rating is ridiculous. Like I said, I'm okay with the idea of ratings. I am, particularly when it's an industry designed thing ran by the industry, when it's not a government oversight thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what the ESRB is. I mean, the ESRB is ran by the industry. It is not.
We'll talk more about like the ESRB once we like cover the whole span of like the game itself and its history.
Well, I mean,
we're pretty much going into that.
Yeah,
now.
we're going into that
okay,
now.
Yeah.
How about you? I mean, you've got some notes on that.
The whole history of like how this game came to be and stuff is fascinating.
Yeah, this is like the real reason we wanted to play this, and the fact that we actually ended up enjoying it is just a bonus.
So should I start from the beginning of Night Trap's history?
Yeah, let's just we're doing like an abbreviated thing, obviously.
Yeah.
We do encourage you to go watch like the documentary and stuff. It's worth doing.
Absolutely. So, founder and CEO of Digital Pictures that made this game, Tom Zito, was obsessed with films, went to NYU. He became a journalist and wrote for publications like Washington Post, Rolling Stone. And in 1984, he was tasked to interview Nolan Bushnell, who was the co-founder of Atari, who at the time ran a venture capitalist technology company called Catalyst Technologies. They owned several companies that focus on varying degrees of, like, they had one company that focused on to make a digital map of the world, and they were the first company to do that. And the most important one was Axelon, who did consumer electronics, like a teddy bear that responds to your voice.
Like, what was his name? Is it the Reading Bear?
I don't think I didn't write down the bear's name.
I care about these things, Michael. I care about the teddy bears. There was a bear that you could like put a tape in him, and he'd read the bear to you. Teddy Ruxpin.
I think that might have been.
Did they do Teddy Ruxpin? You don't have to look this up.
Okay.
Listeners, send in your emails to @stateofthesave at gmail.com to stateofthesave@gmail.com. And at State of the Save on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Say, Eric, this is the name of that teddy bear you were talking about.
So Tom and Nolan headed off, and Nolan asked Tom to quit his job and move to California and work at Axelon as the VP.
This was the era when there was just money being handed out left and fucking right.
You got an idea? Here's $10 million.
Video games were like the rock stars of the day. Like they had like meetings in hot tubs with strippers and cocaine on the side. Like they were having a hell of a time at Atari at this point.
So, on the trip to a Wallabies, Tom Zito saw kids gathered around the NES playing Mario Brothers. He wanted to see what all the fuss is about, so he bought the system for himself and played some of it, and he was unimpressed with the graphics, saying that it didn't seem more advanced than like Atari or something, which seems crazy because obviously, to look at us, Mario Brothers looks a lot better than anything you would see on the Atari.
But I'm trying to think of somebody who maybe just didn't play a lot of video games.
Or focus on technology itself.
Yeah,
we're so much capable of it. Yeah. But
I could see him as a tech guy, because this is at the beginning of, like, special effects in movies and stuff. Like, he's like, no, we can do better stuff than this.
So he went to Axelon and proposed to develop a game console that would compete with Nintendo, that will allow users to interact with real images. This was a console that could do specifically this thing. And he pitched that these games would be developed on VHS tapes.
The future of technology. Say what you want about VHS tapes. I was alive doing VHS tapes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was the future, bro.
The idea of having a game on it, though, was, like, crazy. And I didn't know how this would work until they, like, explained it.
Yeah.
So Bushnell gave Zito the okay to assemble a team of veteran developers from like the Atari days to explore this possibility. And they developed a prototype. So the games would be played on the system with the backgrounds displayed on a VHS tape. So you would pop in the game and pop in a VHS tape that aligned with the game, and you would play a game with the VHS tape happening in the background.
Huh.
As to fill in, like, the game would be superimposed over the video image.
Almost like how there's some old arcade games and, like, little portables where the game was it was like the portables that were like, it's baseball, and so it's like an image of the baseball field, and then it would impose the digital players on top of the image.
Exactly.
And so the image doesn't change, but the players just move and flash in front of the image.
Yeah.
Very similar kind of concept.
So he needed $7 million more to like really focus. He's like, I'm almost there. I just need more money. And they were like, the head of the company was like, you need to find some outside help to put in. We already gave you enough money. So Hasbro wanted. They funded the development and gave $7 million to develop a prototype called Nemo. And they developed 3 tech demos for the Nemo. Scene of the Crime, which is on the Night Trap Anniversary Collection, which is a whodunit, where you have to like protect this safe. And you have to kind of keep tabs on everybody in the space. It's a 4-minute game, and at the end you're like, who done it? And then you pick who done it. It
was a very basic mystery.
Yeah. Bottom of the 9th inning, which is exactly what you would think. Baseball game that is in the bottom of the 9th inning. And an interactive music video for the Cars song, You Might Think. Hasbro loved the demos, but Bushnell hated them and fired Zito. He was like, this sucks.
Bushnell is a fascinating human being. If you ever have a chance to like watch some stuff on him, he's a fucking fascinating human being. He's also in charge of the he's the guy who started Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah,
he's the Chuck E. Cheese.
One of the companies he was in was about making animatronics for stuff like that.
He's an insane human being.
Crazy. So, after he was fired, Hasbro bought the Zemo from Axelon. The Nemo, not the Zemo. The Baron Zemo.
The Baron Zemo.
Hasbro bought the Nemo from Axelon and then rehired Zito. After failing to get the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street for a property, Zito hired Terry McDonald to pen the script. McDonald was a writer for Golf Magazine and 2 episodes of Miami Vice.
Think about that. You know what that would be like? It would be like me and you getting hired to write a video game. Like, Eric and Michael, podcast hosts of State of the Save, and they occasionally have done a little bit of like theater production once or twice. Let's get those guys to write a video game. Like, it would be like this if like it's like one of you listeners sending us a proposition like, hey, I got a movie, I want you to direct it. It's like,
all right.
Okay, sure. The sad thing is we agreed to it. We write your fucking video game. Cool.
The Nemo was renamed the Control Vision.
Control Vision. That's a very early 90s name.
Like video game console. Night Trap had a 6-month-long... Then they began shooting games for this thing. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's literally shooting.
Night Trap had a 6-month-long development cycle divided between shooting and programming. The game was shot by Don Burgess, who would later be nominated for an Academy Award in cinematography for Forrest Gump.
If you think about it,
It's pretty well shot.
It's okay, well shot, especially for the limitations of having to be like static cameras. He can't move the camera around on those rooms.
They do some zoom ins and like different camera angles for it, but mostly you're looking at like a static shot.
Also, like one thing we didn't bring up is there's all these like fail state scenes where like you'll screw up and like a thing will happen. And, like, all of those are unique and different, and they look pretty good.
Well, he was nominated for an Academy Award for Forrest Gump, and Night Trap was shot on 35mm film in the span of 16 days, and then converted to videotape.
That's fucking insane.
It's like how The Phantom Menace, the first film to be shot digitally, was available on VHS. If you think about it.
I remember. Yeah, I had it on VHS.
Dana Plato of Different Strokes fame was cast in the lead role, and the development team, once they were handed back the footage, they realized traditional game design methods had to be thrown out the window because they could not tweak the footage to better suit gameplay flow.
Yeah,
so like if they needed, like, it would make more sense if we had a longer window here so the player could switch here faster if they just didn't have that footage to work with. So they couldn't edit anything. It was strange, being a traditional game designer and then being thrown like this. They kind of had to learn on the fly.
Dana does a pretty good job actually in this game.
Oh yeah,
like I'm thinking she's the kind of the main character, and obviously she's the main like person that they cast. Not a bad job. not a bad performance. Everyone else is campy. She actually has a little bit of like legit acting chops.
And it shows for
It
sure.
shows, you know.
So Night Trap was developed alongside Sewer Shark, which is something we don't have time to really get into, for the
Jesus.
Control Visions launch. And both of those had a combined budget totaling $4.5 million, which made them the most expensive games of the era. Like,
I heard you, but I'm also sitting here thinking if people do like some reviews and shit for me, maybe we'll play Sewer Shark. 'Cause
the system was canceled before it was
I
launched.
noticed how quickly you moved on from that.
The system was canceled before it went to market because of it was a high cost product. It would have retailed for $300.
Ooh, in 1980 money, that's a lot of money.
1987. Right now, in 2020 money, that's about $650.
Woo!
To compete, because remember, he was designing this to be an alternative to the Nintendo Entertainment System. In '87, Nintendo was worth $100.
It makes
You
sense.
were going, so Hasbro was like, we can't release this. So Zito bought the rights to the games, and where they sat in a warehouse in Rhode Island. So Zito founded Digital Pictures to work with Sega to transition the games to the CD format, because the CD format allowed for both the game and the footage they shot to be together, not in like separate entities.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for the Sega CD add-on for the Sega Genesis. And the game finally released October 1992, 5 years after the game was developed. Reviews were mixed. Positive reviews played the game's B-movie charm and the technology. Negative reviews could not get past the gameplay.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the fact that like I actually enjoyed this game.
I know, right?
Like I'm having a hard time.
Would this have, at the same time, let's think about how it looks. Like they showed footage. We're playing like a remastered version of it. Playing it on a Sega Genesis controller might have
Also,
been
key
intriguing.
thing to remember is we had the little video clips in the bottom to help us track movement.
They didn't have those.
They didn't have that. It's just a photo. And I imagine, I'm not 100%, we probably should have played it on that mode just to see. But I believe it probably just like lit up or something. Because you notice like it didn't show a clip of the living room. So there wasn't a way to like check the living room via the little screens.
I imagine playing this back in '92 would have been rough.
Also, we're playing it on a nice 60-inch high-definition television. We can track stuff pretty damn easy compared to, a
20-inch CRT.
20-inch CRT that we would have been playing this on in 1992. So, yeah, I mean, let's give some people... We also are playing this at a different technological advantage
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Let's talk about the reception of this here game.
Yeah, in December of 1993, we talked about the hearing of video game violence, and the hearing was Howard Lincoln representing Nintendo. He was the senior VP and had a background in law. He was a lawyer who was the VP of Nintendo. Bill White was the vice president of marketing representing Sega.
Okay.
And if you look at the hearing, Howard Lincoln presents himself like a lot better. He's like on the attack against Sega for allowing this to happen, because he's like, oh, at Nintendo, we can regulate ourselves and determine from ourselves. Nintendo can step in and determine what's right for our platform.
Yeah.
And then Bill White's like, we have a rating system. It's very bare bones, but we have one. But then he kept walking onto his own dynamite, because Howard Lincoln then pulled out a copy. He's like, there's no rating system on this game. You didn't add one until after it got heat. So it was a bloodbath for Sega. He had some good points there.
I mean, you're going up against a
Bill
lawyer.
White's main argument for Night Trap was like, well, if you're a good player, you won't see those scenes.
Which is a bad argument. But, like, for one, you're going up against a professional lawyer with the Nintendo VP. Mm-hmm. You're going against a very hostile environment. Like, you go into, like, most of these Senate hearings are shams, right? Like, it's for publicity. It's to get voters. It's like what you see now when the Senate brings in freaking, I don't know.
Zuckerberg.
They don't know. Half of them don't even know how to like change the password on their phone, and like they're like, "Well, Mr. Zuckerberg, why is it my cell phone won't turn on?" And you're like, and Zuckerberg's doing IT for these senators. Like, it's just a way for them to get a lot their voters to feel like they did something. You know, a lot of them don't. And same thing here. My defense for Sega would be, one, I don't think the content is justified the response. But then two, like, I'm like thinking about the fact that like this doesn't even touch like what was on TV at the time. Like, I just can't see this content being so offensive that it would justify this kind of level of response.
Well, if you think of like even more gratuitous like TV at the time that did get protested, like what was that? NYPD Blue at the time got a lot of. They were marketing it as like it's an R-rated cop drama for TV, and so that marketing alone got a lot of people like protesting that show. And then after a few episodes, no one cared anymore.
Well, it's like the Super Bowl. Every Super Bowl halftime performance has people writing into the FCC being like, "You believe you let The Weeknd shake his hips?" It's like, motherfucker, have y'all seen Elvis? Like, why y'all fucking watching?
They had to frame Elvis on a tight shot on TV because they couldn't show him move his pelvis.
Couldn't show him move those hips, man. What would the young ladies of the ward think if they saw Elvis's hips?
Here's my favorite thing about the Senate hearings. The week after the Senate hearings, Night Trap sold 50,000 more copies.
Because, and there was something
a year after release.
There's something that they said in the documentary is like, what's the quickest way to make a 12-year-old boy want something? Tell him he's not mature enough to handle it. Like, dude,
exactly.
It's like metal, right? When you're a kid, your parents are like, "Don't listen to that Slayer."
Parental advisory.
And you're like, "Fuck, that's exactly what I want to listen to, man." Like, what's hiding behind the parental advisory? I am happy that there is a ratings board.
Yeah,
I'm glad that came about.
And the way that because the end of the hearings was essentially, you need to find a way to all agree and self-regulate, or the government's gonna step in and make the rating system for you.
And that would have been a nightmare.
That would have been horrible, because the worst thing to do is to have someone who doesn't understand your industry regulate your industry.
Yes.
So the ESRB formed as a result of the hearings, and Night Trap was pulled off of shelves in early 1994, which it was out for a year and a half at that point, and at that point, used games is you're probably not going to find a sealed copy anymore anyway, so it was like kind of a moot point at that. Anyway, so there was a follow-up hearing in 1994 after the ESRB, and it was significantly shorter and a lot less hostile because the games industry had gone through one of this before. They knew what to expect, so they rolled up and was like, here's how the ESRB is going to work. We're going to ask everyone to willingly send in video copy of their like worst content of the game. We're going to have someone review those videotapes. We're going to assign it a rating and give it descriptors on the back. And in all the advertising, we're going to make sure that the rating and all the descriptors are on the advertising. We're going to say what the rating is. We're going to have a hotline for parents to call and ask questions about specific games if they want. And the key thing was like, and then one key thing, which is actually a really good point from the senator's perspective, give credit where credit's due. He's asking, what's going to stop somebody from making a game, not rating it, and sending it to Walmart or something?
Which is actually, you're right. That's actually a legitimate
question.
Good point.
And he said, we've teamed up with retailers, and we asked them, and they've agreed to let us for them to regulate themselves and say that they have agreed to not sell games that have not gone through the rating system, so that all of these major like stores where kids will go and like buy video games, or anyone will go buy video games, the only ones that will be available to them are ones that have gone through the rating process. And then the senator was like, "Oh, you did? Okay, cool."
It's basically we use the market to do the enforcement. That yes, you can make. I mean, this is true today. You can make a game and not rate it.
No one will carry it.
Who's going to carry it? It's not going to go on online services even.
Steam won't be able to promote those games. You can't put it on like any of the big stores without going through a rating. It's necessary. Like, you have to go through that process.
The only way you could release a game today without going through a rating would be to sell it on your own website and advertise it yourself. But that's taking away so much of your
that's a financial
audience.
hit. Yeah,
you're not getting in front, because like the chances are, like, me and you are ingrained in video games, but we're not like going to go to some random website to buy a copy of something. We're going to go to our normal places where we buy video games from. And so, like, I'm sure those games that get released like that, but no one fucking knows what they are.
So the goal is, not only are they creating like a moral controversy for them, but it's also going to hurt them financially to not go through this process, which was ultimately the solution. And all the senators were like, okay, yeah, you did it. We're not going to regulate you. And then they had a bill that was in the works, and they immediately just threw it out.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing I can say about this, is that, like, it got the industry to, like, get their crap together, and, like,
it was always going to be necessary.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous that this is the game that made it necessary.
And all the questions there were valid, because he was like, what are you going to do about pre-existing games? And he was like, we have games that are on the market this year, in order for us to, like, get to the holiday season and make sure those those games are going to be rated. Anything that's been released in the past, we cannot do. If they get re-released, we require that if they go on a shelf again, they'll be re-rated, but there's no way for us to feasibly look at, like, the thousands of games that have come out in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go back in time. You can't put the genie back in the bottle for all that stuff.
Exactly.
But what you can do is change where you're going from there forward. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I have no issue with the rating board. I actually am a fan of the ESRBs, what they do. Do I think that they are perfect? No.
There's some, like, the big controversy now with the ESRB is having to deal with, like, loot boxes and everything.
Yes.
It's like, shouldn't, like, because, like, simulated gambling is a denotion, but, like, when you're actually, like, spending a bunch of money to try to get a pair of, like, gold boots or something, it becomes, like, a bigger question than that organization probably wants to answer at the time. Yeah,
you're getting into situations where you're like, and I think that's the next big fight, right? It's already started, where
when NBA, like, 2K literally has a prize wheel that you pay for to spend or something.
And I'm not even anti that argument, because I think blind boxes suck. It's just, I have concerns about government agencies stepping in to try to regulate that. But, like, I'm not anti that fact that the ESRB might need to be looking into, like, some form of repercussions that if you put that in your game, it changes something in your rating.
It'll be at least a T or something.
At least a T, because, I mean, some of that stuff is, like, I'm hesitant to use the word predatory, but it's like, it hits you with the endorphin thing, right? And it's like, it's military grade endorphin fuel.
Or if,
where, like, you could have got a gold, but you got a blue, but if you buy 10 more packs, you're guaranteed 1 gold.
Or this comes into the parenting argument, but if you're, like, not watching your kid and they find their way on, like, Fortnite and just go, I press this button and I get V-Bucks.
Yeah, don't ever link your card to, like, a game that your kids are playing, because that's a good
You're
way
gonna have
for
that conversation.
shit to go bad.
You're gonna have that conversation once and go, okay, we need to unlink this. You do not press this button. If it gives you a screen with a credit card number, you call me.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right, like, yeah, you don't fucking touch the credit card button, you know. But no, and, like, but at the same time, I don't want to say that, like, adults can't play a game that
They should
has
do
a
something
blind
about
box.
this. Think of the children. No,
Yeah, no, it's like, there just needs to be a way to give parents more tools to do their fucking parenting.
Funny thing is, Nintendo has probably the best use of this, because they have an app where you can, like, control the parental settings on the Switch anywhere.
Most of these consoles have great parental settings.
Yeah, they do.
Dude,
like, we've come a long way since '92.
Yeah, like, a lot of these consoles have shutoffs after a certain amount of time. Like, if you want to make it that your kid can only play 1 hour of video games, it'll shut off after an hour. Like, that stuff exists on those consoles. So, like,
you can also, like, with like, routers now, you can have an app where it, like, turns off Wi-Fi for certain devices after a certain time.
parent advice from Eric: it's up to you to be the parent. It's up to you to show and allow your kid to be exposed to content depending on what's right for your child.
Mm-hmm.
It is not up to the government to tell you to parent for you.
Exactly.
Your job is to parent.
But if
Be
you have,
the fucking parent.
But if you have the right family, gather around the TV and save some girls from some vampires.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the funniest part about this is this game didn't even receive the harshest rating the ESRB does. It received a fucking T.
Today it did. I think back then when they re-rated it, it was MA17. But even then, it's like, come on, really? That
I forget that the ratings used to be like M17, T13.
Well, Sega had theirs, and they had 3 descriptors, which they argued, which was a terrible argument for Sega. It was like, we have general audiences, we have MA13, which is mature audiences 13 and up, and mature audiences 17 and up. So the main descriptor was like, is a 13-year-old considered a mature audience?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and they were stumbling, was like, well, you should be able to make your decision at 13. And I'm like, what? How do you regulate? But at the same time, it becomes, how do you regulate a mature person who's 13 to buy this game? It's like that. It was their descriptor was vague, and there's they tried to get their system as the main system to use, but there were 2 things against it. One, it was vague, and 2, Nintendo's like, I'm not going to use your rating system.
Yeah. Nintendo's like, fuck you. We just tore you up in that freaking place.
Well,
you want to go back in without us?
Nintendo was very bitter on the time because if you remember, the Nintendo Entertainment System before 1990 had a 95% market share.
Yeah.
Sega came in. The Genesis was out for 2 years before 1991, but when 1992 came around, it was 50-50. The Genesis
Genesis does what Nintendo
don't.
don't.
Because of a huge marketing strategy. I won't go into it here. That's a big discussion. Go read the book Console Wars. It touches on this and Sega basically coming in like underdogs and breaking up Nintendo's near monopoly. It is a wild book that's going to be made into a movie. They say at some point, I really want it to be made because it's a good like workplace like underdog story in like this weird tech industry.
It was necessary.
Yeah.
It helped the industry. Monopolies doesn't help anybody.
It made the video game industry like viable for like a newcomer to come in and just eat Nintendo's lunch.
You probably wouldn't have got a PlayStation. You probably wouldn't have got an Xbox if you didn't have Sega coming in and being like,
and that's exactly what the book's about.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
They lay on the dawn of Sony coming in and just kicking both of them in the face.
So like,
they were like, we appreciate what you did, Sega. Screw you.
I fuck all of you. Because the PlayStation motherfuckers.
The shortest E3 speech ever. $2.99.
Walks off the stage.
Because the Sega Saturn was like, it's out now for $3.99. Sega is like, all right, Sega's turn. $2.99. Walks off. That's the speed. Not even like an hour later after they say it's on sale now. Sony's like, we got you.
They screwed up.
You activated my trap card.
Whenever you blink, don't blink. Don't blink. Oh man.
Never go first.
$2.99, brother.
So that's Night Trap.
Is fascinating. Night Trap leads to a lot of fascinating things.
And as a game itself, it's a fun video game. Like, I had a great time playing it. I had a great time discussing it.
We also played it, I think, in like the ideal circumstance with playing it together and stuff. But yeah, man, it was a hell of a time.
I really enjoyed that game.
That was a damn good video game. I had a really good time playing it. We go ahead and lay the trap work for the
next game.
The next game.
Yes.
So things are going to go a little bit weird for the month of August. I plan on being on at least the first game. Who knows? I might be on all of them. I don't know. But I have a kid coming at the end of August. So Michael's going to be taking a lot of the lead role here.
Congratulations, by the way. I don't know if I said congratulations on the show yet.
We're going to be playing Undertale next, correct? And that's going to be a two-parter.
It's going to be a two-parter. I have a guest on board coming on the show too. So at the most, we'll have four people on this show.
Yeah, which I think is going to be really fun.
Because I also talked to Nick, and Nick might be into doing this game club as well. So we're trying to get Nick on the show for this one too. So it's going to be a fun group for this game for sure. And Nick is the only one of us who have played it because I haven't played this game.
I've not played this game before either.
So shall I do the setup for Undertale?
Yeah, let's set up Undertale.
So, Undertale, Toby Toby Fox, Undertale's sole developer, was a lifelong fan of video games, and he got his starts in game development with RPG Maker 2000 on the Windows to develop RPGs and ROM hacks for Earthbound. His Earthbound, the Halloween hack, is probably the most notable, and that's one I've seen, like, because people are like, oh, the creator of Undertale made this, too, so it's like a big...
People go back when they find a creator that resonates with them. They always have a tendency to go back. It's fun to be like, what did they do also? It's like when you read an author for the first time, you're like, what's the other books this guy did?
Exactly. So, like me and Supergiant Games played Bastion. I'm like, I need to play everything they do.
Yeah, it's like, hey, man, this guy's cool. Let's see what he did.
So, in high school, he composed music for the Homestuck webcomic series, and after developing a battle system in Game Maker Studio that he was satisfied with, he began development on Undertale. And he was inspired by his college drawings, RPGs, bullet hell shooters, absurd internet humor, and Mr. Bean were some of the things that kind of all collided into this one thing that he's created. So
it's like, and you can kind of tell just from the outside that that's a very true statement.
Because if you were following video games around 2015, you heard of Undertale. Like, you know of it, bits and pieces about it, even though you haven't played it, because it was that much of like a touchstone in games that year.
It was a cult classic that exceeded past that. Like, exactly. It's like a cult classic that got, I wouldn't say mainstream, but became very close.
Exactly. Toby wanted to handle most of the video game himself, but he received help from Temi Cheng, who handled concept art and sprite work. And he launched a Kickstarter in June 2013, asking for around $5,000 for the game's development. The game raised a total of $50,000, funding all of the stretch goals. And upon release, Undertale was a hit, creating a huge and diverse fan base, including wrestler Kenny Omega, who dressed as Sans from the game and entered the ring to the song Megalovania, and Toby Fox personally animated his intro.
Wrestling talk, Kenny Omega is my favorite professional wrestler. Before that stuff, he's my favorite professional wrestler. Huge video game fan also. Also got the guy taking the point on all of AEW's video game endeavors. Current AEW World Heavyweight Champion, current AAA World Mega Champion, I think is AAA belt, and also current Impact Champion. So, like, all the championship belts. Kenny Omega, fucking amazing professional wrestler. When he came out to the Undertale theme, he dressed as Sans. I believe that was the Halloween show of Dynamite.
That's fun.
I
found that cool. I found that bit really cool. I just wanted to bring it up.
And the cool thing about you'd say that the creator actually did his Titantron.
Mm-hmm.
The Titantron is in the style of Undertale, but it also tells the entire history of like Kenny Omega's biggest matches.
That's fun.
It references his time in the Golden Levels with Ibushi. It references his Tokyo Dome matches with Okada. It like tells the highlights of his career up to that point.
That's cool.
In the Undertale style. It's a very cool fucking Titantron. You can find that.
Just the fact that he personally animated that too.
It confused the hell out of the wrestling world.
I bet so.
You either got it or you didn't get it. And to have arguably one of the biggest professional wrestlers in the world right now to do something like that and just be like, fuck it, I want to do it.
Because he loves this video game. So if Kenny Omega likes it, you can at least approach it from that and be like, Kenny Omega sees something.
If anybody wants to send this podcast clip to Kenny Omega so I can get like a shout out from Kenny Omega, I'd be very, very happy. That might be, you want to be like, send me like a congratulations for my kid being born. Give me a shout out from Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega wants to be on this podcast.
If he's on Cameo.
If Kenny Omega wants to be on this podcast, we'll play whatever game Kenny Omega wants to play. Kenny want to come be on the Undertale show? I'll kick off Nick. Now Kenny's on the show, Nick. I'm sorry.
He'll probably be like, that's fair. I get it.
Yeah. I saw this one coming.
The game is available on PC, Mac, PS4, the Vita, Switch, and Xbox One. And it's on Game Pass, which is where I'll be playing it.
That's where I've got it. I'm going to be playing it on there also. I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
It's about, I broke it up into 2 parts. How Long to Beat says about 7 hours, but being an RPG that's very story focused, I wanted to give us like time to like really soak it in, give us time to like play it and like really experience what this game has to offer.
What's our first stopping point?
Our first stopping point is, I want to get the character's name right, so I'm pulling up a chat that I had. Our stopping point is going to be when we leave Alfie's lab.
Alfie's lab.
Alfie's lab.
When you leave Alfie's lab.
So do all the stuff in there, and then when you leave, save. If there's cutscenes there, watch the cutscenes, and then stop right there.
Yep. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited to play this game for the first time.
We also have several File Corrupteds lined up already too, so things are gonna be going pretty smooth for the month of August, even though there's craziness coming.
If you have to step out for an episode,
I'll probably send in at least a video, or not video, but like a recording.
I'd
like
love to
Eric's
just hear
thoughts.
your rambling so I can cut away and be like, let's hear Eric's thoughts on Undertale.
Here's
a 10-minute long clip.
sleepy Eric who hasn't slept in like 3 days.
He'll be like, please edit this down. I will edit it down.
No, that's very little edit.
Just throw the whole thing in there ad nauseum.
It's just sleepy Eric with a baby in his arms being like, let me talk about Undertale.
It's a 10-hour clip because I fell asleep. Anyway,
yeah, it's just been
Undertale.
leaning against my microphone going. No, it's going to be great. And then obviously when I come back, fucking Sonic Adventure 2 will be played.
Yes. Once everything calms down, because we'll need to. There might be some shuffling depending on
Yeah,
things, of
we'll
course.
see.
We'll play it by ear, but once everything is smooth and stable again, we will disrupt the flow of time by playing Sonic Adventure 2.
We have also the rest of the year actually kind of planned out in games, which is exciting. And then we got some cool stuff coming up with next season. It's going to be a hell of a fall. Hell of a fall and winter coming up. I think it's going to be a great time for the show. As always, you can send in your thoughts to stateofthesave@gmail.com. You can follow us at State of the Save on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We got some cool stuff coming up. We're also on YouTube channel and things like that. Cool stuff coming up, man. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you continue to tell your friends, tell everybody you know that likes video games. The more people you tell, the bigger this show grows, the more cool shit we can do.
Exactly.
Say goodbye, Michael.
Bye, Michael.
Hey.
Yeah.